Spaghetti and meatballs. Tramp had just escaped from the dog catcher again. He thought that dog catcher who was his boss. Tramp could smell wood burning in fireplaces, dinner cooking. His stomach suddenly rumbled. Escaping from the dog catcher always made him work up quite an appetite. But where would he go for dinner tonight? He usually stopped by the I can't say it. Scotchels for some Weiner Sketchland, like, sorry if I butchered it, on Monday. He had cornered beef and cabbage with the O'Briens on Tuesday. But what he was really craving was some spaghetti and meatballs. So Tramp headed to Tony's restaurant. He scratched at the back door as was his costume. I'm coming, Tony shouted, and appeared at the door, wiping his hands on the towel. He pretended not to see Tramp, as he always did. "Hey, nobody's here," Tony shouted. It must be April Fool's Day." He pretended to think for a moment. "No, it's not the 1st. It's not even April. It's January." Tramp couldn't take it anymore. He was so hungry, he barked. "Oh, there you are, Butch, my friend," said Tony. Tramp, aka Butch, jumped up and down. "I'll get you your dinner," said Tony. "Relax. Enjoy yourself." Tramp sat down and looked around the cluttered alleyway. This was the life. Just then, Tony appeared with a plate full of pasta. He had given Tramp 2 not to make that free meatballs. That was quite a special night. Tony stood and chatted with Tramp as he ate his meat, telling him about his day. The late delivery of fish, the customer who complained that the tomato sauce was too garlicky, the trip he had and his wife were planning to take. Tramp finished eating and gave the plate one last lick. It was sparkling clean. "That reminds me," said Tony. "There's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. It's time you settled down and got a wife of your own." Tramp gave Tony a horrified look and began to back out of the alleyway. Tony laughed so hard his sides shook. "Goodbye, Butch," he called. "But mark my words, one of these days you are going to meet the dog you can't resist. And when you do, I have a good idea. You bring her to Tony's for a nice romantic dinner." Tramp barked his thanks to Tony. He walked down the block, shaking his head. He was footloose and colour-free. Settled settled down. That was never gonna happen.